All right. So we wanted to talk about lunches and more specifically packing lunches, packing lunch boxes, either for work days or non-work days. So Sarah's going to talk us through like a quick little, guideline of what should go in your lunchbox, I suppose, and then we'll share some practical tips to make packing those lunch boxes heaps easier.
So yeah, just like any other meal, there are infinite ways of putting together a healthy meal, right? But my basic formula is making sure that you've got some carbs, some protein, and some veg. Now, there are other nutrients that we need as well, but usually things like fat kind of take care of them. Cells, whether you've got some dressing or some comes along with the protein. So if you can think of, okay, what's a carb food that I like? It could be as simple as, have you got some bread to make a sandwich or a wrap? Have you got some pasta or rice or potato left over from the night before? That's going to be your carbs. Protein, obviously, it could be meat, it could be eggs, it could be legumes, it could be tofu. Not all of them need to be cooked, so you've got some flexibility there. Cans of tuna too. Yes. And then some veggies. So whatever format, salad, cooked, cold, raw on the side, totally up to you. However you put them together, that just gives you a really good base and a bit of a formula to go by. However you fill in the blanks there is completely up to you and whatever you've got available to you.
Yeah, nice. So talking about now, how can you make the whole packing of the lunchbox easier?
Yeah, I think when we think of, we've got to do some healthy lunches, we're often thinking about the meal preppers that are super organized and have everything cooked and prepped and everything looks very aesthetic.
And five lunch boxes that all look the same.
Yeah, they're all exactly the same. And you don't need that. You really don't. If that works for you, then, awesome. But for most of us, there seems to be, a little bit of a mad dash to the fridge when you're hungry or you haven't quite got what you need or whereas embracing the imperfection can be helpful, and just going back to that formula of, have I got some carbs, have I got some protein, have I got some veg, whatever you can throw together is a decent lunch. But I think the biggest solution to the overwhelm or just feeling a little bit like you can't get it right is just having a plan of what you're going to have, and it doesn't need to be a week's meal plan of your lunches, even if it's just the night before. Do you know what you've got available and what you can put together? So when it's pre-planned, you're more likely to make a better choice, and it's going to feel easier than it is when you walk to the fridge at lunchtime or you're getting ready for a busy day at work at 7 o'clock in the morning and you haven't thought of, okay, what can I pack here?
Yeah, so true. I think it's about making that path to packing your lunch less resistant. I don't know if that's the word, but as easy as possible. Because if the first time you're thinking about what to pack to lunch is when you're having to walk out the door or opening the fridge to eat lunch, there's very little headspace to do it then. So that planning is key. Yeah,
it's just a lot easier and a lot easier on yourself if you can do it while you're not in the moment. And I think
so true.
Yeah. I use that strategy for kids' lunchboxes too. I know a lot of people feel overwhelmed with, oh my goodness, what am I going to put in there right now? And you stand in the kitchen with the fridge door open and the lunchbox open thinking, what can I put in here? I find it really useful before I get into the kitchen is to sit down and jot down on a piece of paper or notes in my phone what I know I've got and just some ideas, so that when I get in there, I can start taking action straight away and I'm not standing there feeling overwhelmed or frustrated at another decision-making process.
Yes. Yeah. So true. Having that meal plan can be really handy. I'm in the habit of trying to write that out Friday night or Saturday morning before we do our food shop, and then I stick that plan on the fridge. So it's a visual reminder. I've actually only, to be honest, been doing that now for, I don't know, I want to say 2 to 3 weeks. Previous to that, I had a plan, but I never had it anywhere so visual. And then I had to, I'm finding having that visual reminder there, I don't have to think, I've already planned it. And even if the lunch thing, the plan, I'm like, I don't feel like that for lunch today, I can see 5 different other options available to me, as long as, so I just find that so much better, makes lunches so much more enjoyable. But what I had to do is train myself to look at it.
Yeah, I like that the visual reminder is in front of you.
Yeah.
So it's in your diary where you forget about it. It's right there when you go to the fridge to get the milk out for a cup of tea. You see it there. It's reminding you that you've got options there to look at.
That's right. That. Yeah. But it's also, I don't know, it's also kind of like sometimes, you know, when you see signs and I don't know, you don't see it after a while. It's just part of the mess on the fridge and all the notices and the photos and everything else going on the fridge.
That's the forest for the trees.
Yeah, that's it. So it was about as well. The night before, I'd have to make it part of my routine. After I've packed the dishwasher, I'm going to look at the plan on the fridge. Okay. And that's as simple as it was. It was just like, okay, I'm just looking at the plan, checking it out. Yep, all good. Or, okay, yeah, I need to pull out this from the cupboard or that or whatever. So that was the next step. It's like, yes, I have a plan, but B, I need to actually figure out when I'm going to look at the plan to then think about the plan to action it. So taking that step back.
And you can add that on to if you're prepping lunches for anyone else in the household, whether it's partners or kids, stack that on to yours as well, because your lunch is just as important. So if you're making it at the same time or just planning it at the same time, I think that can be really effective as well.
For sure. I think if you're new to packing lunch boxes, even just do exactly what you made your kids, you know, same but different, like that's a great start, right?
Most people put a lot of effort, even if they feel it, into their kids' lunches. And when you look at your kids' lunchbox, even if you don't feel that yours are top notch, I guarantee you've got all the different food groups in there. Yeah. They've got a wide variety of nutritious foods. So if you just copy their lunchbox, might not be your favorite foods for the day, but you'll be full and, you know, have all of the nutrition that you need.
But it's simple, it works, and it's a great place to start. The other one that the type of lunches, again, well, I work from home, so I don't need to pack a lunchbox, but there's often leftovers from the night before that are factored into lunch. So whether that's you know, I'm turning something into a wrap, or I'm just reheating what was left over from last night, that's such a big time saver, factoring in those leftovers.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people think that there wasn't enough leftovers, you know, if there wasn't a full serve of leftovers, that there's no point saving it. But even if you've just got a couple of tablespoons, that can be enough to go in the middle of a toasted sandwich or to add into a salad, obviously depending on what it is, on top of baked potato. So even if there's just a tiny bit, put it in a container anyway, and it can be the start of building up a lunch. And you just need to fill in the gaps. Does it need more carbs? Does it need more protein? Because I think once you're kind of halfway there, once you've got a few ingredients, the next finishing off a meal
is a bit easier, right? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so taking that ideal picture out of your head, I think, is really important in that, because then you do start to see it as a bit more of a jigsaw, like you said, carbs, protein, veg, and how you can create it all. But yeah, good tips. Anything else adding there?
I think just have a variety and keep it simple. There's nothing wrong with having a sandwich, a piece of fruit, and a tub of yogurt. It doesn't have to be your ideal, and it doesn't have to be your favorite foods every day.
I feel like the sandwich has got a bad rap.
Let's bring back the sandwich. There's nothing wrong with the sandwich.
Nothing wrong with the sandwich. I'm all for it.